Roger, sir.
All right, guys, so welcome back to the channel. And on today's episode of Financial Readiness Fridays Mission Money, we're discussing Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. But before we get into it, today's shout out goes to Soul Toucher the Poet. And Soul Toucher writes, "Great video. My unit just gave a class on the NCOER support form. I wish it was in this format." Hey, I appreciate it, Soul Toucher. This is why we do it over here. This is why I make these videos. If you don't know what he's referring to the NCOER support form video that I put out a couple months ago. I'll link it up here so you guys can go ahead and watch it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get into the agenda for today. So we're discussing Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And as you see what we have going on here, it's a lot going on. However, as long as you understand the basics, it will work for you. Trust me. Let's get into it. PowerPoint, baby. All right, so here we go. Financial Readiness Fridays Mission Money. First baby step. Save $1,000 for your starter fund immediately. Like as soon as you can. If you got $1,000 right now, put it in an emergency fund. Put it there and make sure that you don't touch it. Because the whole point is to make sure that we are ready for anything life throws at us. And if something happens, you're there. And the biggest part of having the $1,000 in your account is to make sure that when you're trying to get out of debt, you're not getting yourself back in debt because of emergencies. And that's kind of what happens to us. We have a little bit of money and life hits us. And because we've only had that little bit of money, we're never adding to it because we feel comfortable. A lot of the times that flat tire takes away all of our savings, or at least a good chunk of it. So the first baby step is to ensure that you get your $1,000 in that emergency fund, hands down. Baby step number 2, pay off all your debt using the debt snowball. And you see in parentheses, it says, except the house. That step comes later on. So this is in no order. You want to pay off your cars or car, student loans. Almost everyone that I know, I would say 7 out of 10 people that I know have student loans. And if you didn't take advantage of when Biden was doing the student loan forgiveness, actually my brother got like 40 something $1,000 forgiven. And he literally, excuse me, and he literally had just joined the army less than 2 years. And he took advantage of that. But if you didn't, let's start attacking those student loans. Next one is probably America's biggest downfall. Us as Americans, we love credit cards. So what you want to do, you want to pay off your credit cards. And if you see it right there, it says from smallest to largest, no matter the interest rate. You make the minimum payments on everything else and you attack that smallest. So if you have 3 credit cards, one is 300, one is 600, one is 900, which one are you going to start paying off first? The 300, right? And then you're going to make minimum payments on the 600, minimum payments on the 900 until you get that 300 one gone. And then you attack that 600 one. So the money that you're going to use, that you would use for the 300, now you're going to throw that all on the 600 until you get rid of that credit card. Then the money goes to the next credit card. So on and so forth. So if you have 10 credit cards, use that. And this is what's called the debt snowball method. So there's 2 methods. There's the snowball method and then there's the avalanche method. The debt snowball is just what I explained. You attack by the amounts. The avalanche, you attack by the highest interest rate. So if you have 20%, 19%, 17%, 15%, you're going to start with the highest percentage and then you're going to work your way down. But that's the avalanche. The thing about the debt snowball versus the avalanche is the debt snowball kind of gives you more of a mental win, because if you're let's say if you did the avalanche, let's go back for a second. You used the debt avalanche method. Your 19%, your 20% credit card is $15,000, but you have $1,000 credit card down here that's only at 12%. It's going to take longer to pay that higher percentage credit card. So it kind of demotivates you. So with the debt snowball method, you start seeing those wins more instantaneously. So step 2, make sure you pay off all your debt. Let's move into step 3. Just like I said in the previous video, you want to save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency account. So you fully fund it, just like it says right there. If you have $1,000 of bills every month, and just like I said in the last video, you need to make sure that you are saving $3,000 to $6,000. Once you get there, you're going to be able to manage life's unexpected events a lot easier. When you have 6 bands in the bank and you get a flat tire, you sneeze at it and then you replenish it. You wipe your nose. That's it. Boom. So you got to make sure that this money also is liquid, meaning that you can get it at any given time. So you can have in a savings, checkings, or a money market account. The point is that you have $3,000 to $6,000 that you can easily touch. We're not talking about $3,000 to $6,000 in your Bitcoin or whatever investment stocks that you have. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about $3,000 to $6,000 that you can just pick up, go to the bank, or transfer money immediately when something happens. That's step number 3. Step number 4, baby step number 4 that Dave Ramsey talks about is investing 15% of your household income into retirement. In the previous video, I said 10% of your income. This is 15% of the entire household. If you're married, then both of your paychecks, 15%, 7.5%, 7.5%. Yeah, that's 15. So begin to invest that regularly with your gross income. And this is going to take care of you for when you get old. Because I'm not going to lie. If you do the math, if you had $1 million and you lived for 20 years, that's 50 grand a year that you're going to live off of. Because if you had $1 million and you lived for 10 years after retirement and you died at the 10th year, you would be able to give yourself $100,000 a year. So you have to think about it. Even if you have $1 million when you retire, is it really a lot? So make sure that you take care of yourself. Put it in a TSP, put it in your blended retirement, 401k, Roth IRA, whichever one it is, you guys got to do it. And if you don't know how to invest your money, if you're unaware, make sure you get a mentor. Attach yourself to the hip, pay if you have to, but just make sure before you pay, make sure that you do your due diligence in research. Make sure that you take the top 3 that you find and you look at all their reviews. And we're talking about from the package that you're going to buy, how often are they available to see you, what's their customer service looks like, how often does their website go down, how often do you have access to the information, are they just a video mentor only, can you ever talk to them, can you ever meet them in person, are they ever in your area, do they do talks in your areas commonly or oftenly? These are the things that you got to think of before you get a mentor. Don't just be hiring these gurus that you see on TikTok, paying them thousands of dollars, and you're just watching YouTube videos. You can watch mine if you want to do that. So that's baby step number 4. Baby step number 5, save for your children's college fund. And Dave Ramsey recommends you get a 529 college savings plan, or ESA, which is an education savings account. If you don't know what either of these is or are, do your research. Both of these are just like accounts that you put money in and you get deductions. And by the time it's time for your child to go to college, you pull it out. A lot of people just say, well, I'm gonna just take out another mortgage or I'm just gonna use the equity in my house. Sure, you could do that, but why not save at the same time? So if you guys want me to do a video on each one of those, I can do that as well. So baby step number 6, pay off your home early. So at this point, that means that you've mastered 1 through 5 and you're doing what you need to do and you're being disciplined. You're still having fun. You're still going out because remember, you got your 10% of play money that we spoke about in previous video. However, you have done everything that you need to do that you can now focus on paying your house. And this is when you know you made it. This is when you stomping with the big dogs, right? So Dave Ramsey has a mortgage payoff calculator. Go on his website. It has good information. I'm not gonna lie. I've been reading a lot of stuff from him, other internet gurus, if you will, and I take everything with a grain of salt. A lot of stuff has worked for me, which is why I'm putting this information out. I'm tired of hearing you guys talk about the struggles and I've been there, don't get me wrong. I'm not holier than thou, but I'm tired of hearing my troops talk about their struggles and how they got so much debt. Like I had one soldier and that individual came to me and we listed out their debt and it's astronomical. It almost feels like you can never get out of debt. So what does one do when they feel like they can't get out of debt? They just keep spending because it's like what what else can go wrong? So at baby step number 6, you're marching with the big dogs, and then go into into Dave Ramsey's website, and you can use that payoff calculator. Number 7, baby step number 7, build wealth and give. What does that mean? People with no debt do what the heck they want to do. And I'm not gonna lie, I personally, I have my house and I have a couple years left on my vehicle. That is it. No debt. And when I go out there, I do what I want. Obviously, I don't spend crazy, but it feels good not to have to look at your bank account every time you go out. Plus, I use credit cards too because I get money off of that. But that's another video. I got you guys on that. But you can do whatever you want because you're free. And the thing is, when you have money that's just sitting there that you think is gonna rot, that's when you start looking into financial opportunities to keep building and building and building. Because that's the whole point. You continue because you're not where you want to stop everything at. You want to stop it at the next generation, the next after that, and you want to continue. And while the term financial wealth has turned into, or financial wealth or financial freedom has turned into a buzz term, I think we still have to have a mindset of being well off. And we start with the baby steps. And then the final bullet is when you are debt free, when you have everything that you can manage in business investments and opportunities, that's when you see a lot of these philanthropists that they go and start these how do you say it, these foundations, and they start giving back to the community. They start doing charity. They start college funds. Like because they've done everything that they need to do to be where they want to be, that they know that the best thing to do at this point is to give back to the community. And there's no better feeling than when you do something for someone else. Like right now, every time I make these videos, it's just my natural character that I'm kind of like low toned and stuff, even though like around my friends I'm not like that. But it hypes me up because I think this right here is my calling to help my junior soldiers. And this is the same thing when you're in step number 7 and you become a contributing member of society that you're giving back. I'll tell you, there's no better. There's no better. I used to volunteer, all that stuff, and it's fun. But yeah, that's baby step number 7. So wrapping everything up, just like in the army, we use the crawl, walk, run method. And the point is, it doesn't matter where you are. just make sure that you get the theory and put it into practice. And when you get the theory and you put it into practice, there's nothing that can stop you. The only thing that can stop you is yourself. That's it. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, comment, like, subscribe, share the video. I'm telling you, this information, they don't teach it at basic. They don't teach it at your unit. They're not putting this information out. And this is why it took me until I'm almost retiring to understand and get where I need to be at and be well off. And I want all my junior soldiers, all my junior leaders to be the same. So, yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Make sure that you send me an email if you want to be on the show. If you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that cool stuff. And always remember, you don't have to embrace the suck if you got the right tools in your ruck. I'm Sergeant Cruz, and I'm out. Peace.
Roger, Sergeant.